Last month, on the way to Battleground, the rumors started to run about Undertaker making a return as well as Sting making a return to WWE at SummerSlam 2015. It ended up going with Undertaker versus Brock in the main event, and it seems like Sting never got the call from WWE to be a part of SummerSlam. I know that he is going to be a part of the SummerSlam Spectacular. They are bringing him in for an autograph signing SummerSlam week. I think it's taking place the day before SummerSlam. It might be happening on Friday. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look into it a lot because of the main reason I'm not going to SummerSlam this year. But I think that honestly, the SummerSlam people, the fans of this New York, New Jersey area and Brooklyn, I think they're getting a little bit ripped off. I know that WWE is charging a good little penny for what they're calling meet and greets, and they are having a few things that are called panels, which I think they're going to be shot for WWE's network, and I think those are going to be good programming along the way. Last year they had some panels which featured DX, which was filmed and was put onto the network, but they also had they did the panel of what's it called? It was the video game release thing that was live on the network, but they had Stone Cold Steve Austin, which I was at. They had Hulk Hogan. They had a few of these panels. They're going to be doing those again this year, which I think will be WWE Network sort of exclusive ways to see it, which I think that's pretty good. But honestly, they're not doing SummerSlam Access, which, in LA was very cool, right outside of the Staples Center. They blocked off the street in between the mall and the Staples Center, and they set up booths where you could buy merchandise, you could meet wrestlers, you could do certain things along the way, which was very fun, especially if you could come the day before. Saturday was an all-day event of Access, but also if you were just coming to SummerSlam itself, spend the extra $50, go into the Fan Fest, meet some wrestlers, and make it a whole day of it. We were very, very fun. But it turns out that they're not going to be doing a whole sort of ordeal for Access. If you look back at WrestleMania 29, I think one of the big disappointments for a lot of fans was WrestleMania Access. Instead of being put into a convention center where it's had a lot of success running for WrestleManias in the past, they ended up putting it inside of an arena where basically you met the people. They were on the press boxes, I guess you can say. I wasn't there, so I'm not 100% sure, but I've watched videos and talked to my friends about it, and you ended up having to be in a line around the concourse throughout the place. They roped it off after a certain amount of people. Normally when you go to a WrestleMania Access, if you go to one of the popular ones, you should honestly always be able to meet 2 people, if not 3 per session. But people were saying at WrestleMania Access that if you got 2 people, honestly, you were very lucky. And sometimes there were people that you really didn't even care about meeting. And sometimes there were people where their line got blocked off immediately. And there was no chance in the world you were going to be meeting them there. But, if you buy these tickets, you're guaranteed to meet him. Sting's already going to be there. The rumor was for Sting that he was going to be a part of the 6th man, which would have been the Shield versus the Wyatts. Sting would have, of course, been the newest Shield member. Somebody would have been added onto the Wyatts, whether if it's Eric Rowan returning. I've heard rumors that he was actually at the Target Center in Minneapolis at Monday Night Raw. Maybe they were going over the match. Maybe they were trying to plan something out. But my guess is that more than likely Sting will be a part of SummerSlam when it's all said and done. Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio a few times that Sting was given the call that he was going to be a part of SummerSlam. At the last minute, he was pulled out. They ended up thinking that maybe Undertaker versus Brock was too strong. They didn't need Sting. Maybe some people say they're saving Sting for another month. But as of right now, Sting is in ring shape. Sting's going to be in Brooklyn for the autograph signing. You might as well bring him in and have him do some sort of something at SummerSlam, whether if that's Eric Rowan jumping the rail, helping the Wyatts pull out the victory over the Shield, Sting coming down and saying like, hey, I'm not let this going down. How Sting fits into being a Shield member, how Sting fits into being against the Wyatts, why he cares that it's 3-on-2 against Ambrose and Reigns, I got no clue. That's for WWE to make up some story, because as of right now, when you look at Undertaker versus Brock, Undertaker came back to avenge his loss at WrestleMania 30, making it seem that he had never been in WWE since WrestleMania 30, but we all saw him at WrestleMania 31. They're acting like that never happened. They're able to build this story around this. they can build a story around Sting returning and joining the Shield. So it's pretty easy. In my mind, I think Sting's going to be there. I think we're going to see him at SummerSlam. What do you guys think? Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. SummerSlam weekend is in full effect. I was noticing on Twitter, like my buddy Victor flew last night to go to Chicago, where he's going to do Comic-Con before heading into New York for SummerSlam. My buddy, Instant Classic 8, he just pulled into New York City as I was in the gym today. So he's going to be having one hell of a weekend. So everybody's a buzz about the big NXT show. Everybody's a big buzz about SummerSlam coming up. But I noticed the other day, I put up a video with my prediction that Sting would be a part of SummerSlam 2015. Of course, it was rumored for a little while, I mean, well over a couple of weeks, that Sting was going to be involved in the Shield six-man match going up against the Wyatts. Was it going to make sense? Not really, but, you know, it was a way to get a legend onto the show, and it was a way to make a big deal about SummerSlam. Of course, they're trying to give this a big WrestleMania feel. They're trying to make this seem like it's one of the biggest events of the year, and a legend like Sting being there is one of the biggest names that could wrestle, that's still in shape and not going to go out there and embarrass himself. But I was saying that basically Eric Rowan or Adam Rose or Bo Dallas, one of the rumored guys to be joining the Wyatts, somebody's going to come in making this an uneven match, 3-on-2, giving the Wyatts an advantage, and that's when Shield would sort of prevail by having Sting come down to the ring. What beef Sting would have with Bray Wyatt, not quite sure, but it could lead us to a six-man at Night of Champions, or maybe they could hold off and hold it off until they did the Hell in the Cell show in October, if they wanted to give a really big build to it, of building it up for 2 months, where Shield was helped out by Sting helping him out this one time, but he wasn't there the other times before finally they had to say, fine, fuck it, let's just do the six-man match, and Sting would come down, and then Sting, Ambrose, and Reigns would reign supreme, and the new Shield would be standing up on top. But there's a lot of people out there that are commenting on the video or sending me things on Twitter basically saying that Sting is going to interfere during the Undertaker versus Lesnar match. I am not one to say that anybody's prediction is wrong. I don't see that happening. I mean, I come up with some wild, out-of-the-box things that I think would be great, and that's why I'm not a part of the writing committee. That's why I'm not a booker. That's why I'm just a guy sitting in his gym's parking lot holding his iPhone right now. I love wrestling. I love to talk about wrestling. I love to dream things up. But honestly, in my mind, I just don't see Sting interfering into that match. I am one to say that I would love to have Sting versus Undertaker at WrestleMania, and I think that's what you guys are planning towards, is trying to get this Undertaker versus Sting match off the ground. Basically, Taker came back, he got Brock's attention to get a match. So Sting sitting at home, Sting says what Taker did. He's wanted to have this match for years, so Sting's going to show up, screw Taker out of his match with Brock, and then all of a sudden we'll finally get WrestleMania 32, Sting versus Undertaker. To me, honestly, that's a waste of too many WWE main events in a row. I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, we were promised at Battleground it was going to be Brock versus Seth Rollins for the championship. And, the match never had a finish. I mean, when it comes down to it, WWE's ending to the pay-per-view basically was going to be that, we were going to be gung-ho for Taker versus Brock at SummerSlam. And honestly, when it came down to it, I think the finish was bigger than WWE thought it was going to be, especially with the brawl that would happen the next night on Monday Night Raw. I never really believed the rumors. I never thought that Taker was going to be a part of it, and there he is. I'm marking out, you're marking out, we're all going crazy. That leads us to SummerSlam, a show that they want us to believe is going to be as big as WrestleMania. So this can sort of continue on in future years where people will fly into New York City, Las Vegas, or Los Angeles, wherever next year's SummerSlam is going to be. And all of a sudden, we're going to get the SummerSlam main event. It's going to be Brock versus Taker. And all of a sudden, Sting's going to come in, screw this matchup. So that way, we're looking for another match. To me, honestly, that's 2 pay-per-views in a row that are going to have no finish due to interference. And I do think that Sting versus Taker would be a big deal. I just don't think it's going to be happening this way for Sting versus Taker. I don't even know if that match is ever really going to happen. But in my opinion, I think if Sting's going to do anything, he's going to be in that 6-man. But there's a lot of people out there thinking it. Sting's going to interfere in the Brock versus Taker match, which is going to lead to Sting versus Taker at WrestleMania 32.